Perfect. Daniel, the floor is all yours.
Oh, great. Thank you so much, Matteo. And I would like to also thank the Morgans for the opportunity to speak in this summit. As you can see, the topic today we're talking about is a very important topic to all of us, but it has impact as well on societies, on individuals outside the industry as well. And I would like to explore those effects with you today. So next slide, please, Matteo. Okay, so the financial crime effect, and I wanted to take a poll to start with. I think this is the wrong part of the slide, Matteo. Apologies. Okay, so okay. Fine. Are we able to take a poll, guys? Maybe if we go back to the very first slide, Matteo, sorry. Okay. Okay. So if possible, I would like participants to just try and highlight what these numbers might correlate to. So if we could start the poll, please. Okay, we'll give it 1 minute for people to add. Okay. Okay, I can see more responses coming through, which is great. Okay. Okay, I think that this is very good and very interesting to see the results. I think it indicates to me that we are all aware of the severity of financial crime and the impact it has on industry, on societies, etc. Next slide, Matteo, please. Okay, so we know that studies have identified that financial crime affects 47% of businesses, resulting in total losses of 1.45 trillion, which is the estimated amount of which is the estimated effect of financial crime. Now, the estimated amount of money laundered globally in 1 year only is between 2 to 5% of global gross domestic product, which equates to 800 billion to 2 trillion US dollar. That is significant. That is significant amount of impact and losses and money laundering that is circulating around us. According to International Labour Office and Walk Free Foundation, on any given day in 2021, there was 49.6 million people in modern slavery. And according to LexisNexis Risk Solution 2022 report, it was identified that the projected total costs of financial crime compliance across the financial institution worldwide is 274.1 billion in 1 year. That is, again, extremely significant number. When we look at all of these numbers, those are only the numbers that we as professionals are able to account for. There are other numbers that we do not actually account for, and it's almost impossible that we account for. And those are the numbers that related particularly to the effect on societies and regions in the world. And I'll go through that in more details in a second, so please bear with me. Next slide, Matteo, please. And the next one. Right. So What is the role of the financial crime professionals? The role of financial crime professionals is extremely challenging today. We talk about financial crime professionals wearing multiple hats, but that is not everything. We are responsible for effectively any decisions we make, any decisions that we convince the business to take, and the impact of that decision on others, on individuals, on the economy itself. So the role of financial crime professionals is extremely important and is extremely sensitive role. And we need to start looking at that from accountability. The accountability to our decisions as professionals is really important. We need to understand the impact that we have on our decision has on our businesses, on our economy, on our industry, and communities. With that being said, it's really important that we look at the effects to other societies. One of the key decisions that businesses have historically been trying to achieve is to avoid reputational damage. And by avoiding reputational damage, it's often the easiest way for businesses to avoid reputational damage and cost to the business is by de-risking individuals, de-risking societies, and de-risking regions. Now, this is something we don't look at. We cannot quantify. We cannot quantify what this de-risking does to other communities, but let's look at certain regions and look at the impact this having on these regions. A lot of regions are highlighted or identified as high-risk regions, and therefore a lot of businesses do not want to do business in those regions. What that does, it really does drive the poverty and the economy in those regions to deteriorate more, and therefore results in higher level of desperation within those societies to survive. And how do they survive? But actually, the only jobs that these societies may have is really kind of like working for organization, for criminal organizations, because we're excluding them from our economy. We are excluding them from allowing them the opportunity to be part of good economy. This effect is really coming down to misunderstanding regulations. I often come across people where, okay, well, this country is on sanction list. When this country is on sanction list, what does that mean? Does it mean that I do not do any business with a person who is citizen of that country, even though this person might be living somewhere else? A lot of compliance and financial crime professionals actually do the right thing and understand regulations, but the problem it comes when the wrong decisions are being made. And the wrong decisions, you will be very surprised to know that even with large banks, large financial institutions, you come across where a decision is being made that this individual we should not transact with this individual because they hold a particular passport, because they are from a particular country. We do not look at the actual regulation, actual sanctions in this case, to understand what they mean. And should we stop providing services to an individual purely because of their country of origin, rather than looking at that individual, understanding the state of that individual, understanding whether that individual lives in that country where we are prohibited to make transaction with, or live in another country where simply they happen to be born in that country but live somewhere else. So all of this impact it has, when we look at it, we look at students traveling from one country to another, and the impact on those students when they are refused bank accounts. So the impact and the importance of financial crime professionals and the importance of their decision making is hugely important, not just for the economy where we live, but actually on economies and individuals somewhere else, in different region, in different country. So let's look at at the solution, what can we do to make sure that we are making the right decisions? I think what I mentioned earlier in terms of accountability is very important. It's very important for us to make sure that any new financial crime professional joining the industry understand what it means to make a decision, to be part of a decision, understand the impact, the wider impact of their decision on others, on the economy itself. Sharing information is another thing that we need to try and strive to, because only by sharing information and trends about typologies, about fraud trends, and so on, we are able to build a better systems and controls in place and include those in our business strategies. Things move on, and we now have machine learning. Are we exploiting machine learning and artificial intelligence to our advantage? Those technologies are there for reasons, and I'm surprised when I see a lot of businesses who avoid those advanced technologies or feel that it's too much unnecessary. Well, those technologies are important because they will help us attack this very challenges that we come across in financial crime. Getting together as industry professionals and try to learn from each other and work together to have one goal, which is combating financial crime, is extremely important. It's often seen as networking, but I see it not just networking. I see it learning and trying to understand from these events and from getting together what is the best practices. So networking is by all means is important, but without putting the right processes in place, then we are missing a huge value from these events and from getting together. Anyone who sits educating our teams, educating senior management about the importance of decisions that they make, and the importance that and making them aware that anyone who sits around financial crime processes, anyone who sits around compliance, actually sits on the very heart of the solution. Their decision, what they do on a daily basis, contribute to the decision for the business to put certain processes in place, and therefore their role is important. Marketing, sales, it all starts from the very beginning. Compliance and financial crime prevention starts from the beginning, from the very first point of contact with customers, from very first point of deciding on where to go as a business, what countries to de-risk and what countries to engage with. With that being said, next slide, please, Matteo. Okay. With that being said, I think trust in us as professional, as financial crime professional, and trust in the market, we know is not always there. We know that a lot of societies who do not have faith in financial institutions, they don't have that faith for a reason, because they are at the very heart of impact of our decision as financial professionals. In 2016, Dr. Andrew Bailey, the ex-chief executive of the FCA, said something that is very poignant. Trust in financial services will only rebuild when the public truly believe that senior managers in financial institutions are taking responsibility for the actions they take. And when we look at the impacts, when we look at the very heart of this, the simple message that I'm trying to relay today to you, we understand that it's going to be a lot of work to build that trust, and it's a trust that makes our role extremely important and it should make every single compliance professional aware that of the impact our decisions make on industry, economy, on societies, and individuals in general. And by that, I conclude. So thank you so much.
To